Episode of Mesonet API development series, and here in this episode we are going to talk about data validation. Okay, let's get started then. So in our previous tutorials we had these categories built, and we do have all these APIs ready, right? So I have also added few relation related methods here inside models, which I'm gonna like let you know in detail in a separate video, like ORM related video. So let's not talk about this part, but let's talk about the validation that we are going to do here in our APIs. So let's get started by starting our application first. So Python craft serve, and it started. Let's log in the user, send. Now we do have this token, perfect. So let's get all the categories that we have, send. Now we do have list of categories. So let's start by validating the category request. So while creating category, let's validate these contents. Okay, so inside category, so here in store we are not actually validating anything. So if we try, let's try by actually uncommenting all this. So we are not sending anything here. So let's do send, and let's see what happens. So we are trying to create category here. It's taking some time. It means there is some kind of error. You can see we do have 500 internal server error. So if you go to preview and see the null value in column name of relation categories values no constant. So it means we do have this name field which is not nullable, but we are sending null value. That's why it is giving us that issue. So we should validate this kind of stuff. All right, so in order to do that, we do have few commands and methods provided by Masonite. So here in list of commands we do have this role enclosure. So we are going to talk about role enclosure, not in detail. I'll just give you hint so that you can continue on your own. We do have lots of things here inside the role enclosure. So let's start by creating one role enclosure for category, and let's see how it works. So Python craft role enclosure, and let's provide the name. So we are going to create this rule for category. So let's name it category rule. Now the category rule has been created inside app and then validations. Okay, let's go and check. So inside validation we do have this category rule, and here we do have this list return from rules method. Okay, so let's use this. All right, so let's start by actually calling the category rule. So you can use that rule in this way. So we are trying to get all errors from request.validate. So we are validating category rule, and if we do have any errors, then we are going to return response.json, where we are going to pass message with a message data validation failed, and also let's return all the errors that we caught here. Errors equals to errors.all. Perfect. So before actually running this API, let's go to category rule and add few required fields. So required, inside required I'm going to create this array, and where I'm going to put this name slog, and also status to be passed. So if user failed to actually send these values, then we are going to return this validation error here, send. So now you can see we do have this name slog and status records here. You can also actually change the message. So the message here says the name field is required. So what you can do here is after this setting you can pass in messages, which is an object, and for that we do have name. So type in name will be used as a key here. So whatever field do you have here, you can use that field as a key and pass in value. So this one will be the message for your field. So for name, this field is required. Sorry. So let's try this out. So here we have the name field is required. Let's try running this command, and you can see this field is required. What if we send the name field and try again? So now you can see we do have this slog field is required. So what if we send slog? Status field is required. Perfect. So this is how validation works. All right. And if you go to official documentation of validation here in Masonite's docs, then you can see a lot of rules here. So I'm just using required here. You can use whatever you like depending upon your requirement. You can see all the lists here. You can actually find a lot of things here. So this is just the hint on how you can use these fields. All right, let's add the same validator here inside update 2. So here in update, let's paste that here, and also let's copy these errors here and paste it here. Perfect. So it's working perfectly fine for category. And now let's go back to our API and let's do the same for inside update. So let's not pass all those values and see if that works or not. So now you can see we do have this validation issue here. Perfect. So if you try to update, then it's updating successfully. So it's working perfect. Let's go to our blocks. Get all blocks, not get all blocks, but create new block. And inside block we are actually requiring all these fields. So let's create a validator for that as well. So in order to create that validator, we can run role enclosure and blog rule. So now we do have this blog rule inside validations. Let's copy this required here and paste it here so that it can be a little bit faster. Required. All right, so let's remove this message from here. We don't need this one. And from here we need title, and also let's remove this message, and title slog. What do we have here? Excerpt, content, and categories. Here in roles, let's copy and paste the role from category. So copy this one, and here inside block let's paste it here, and we are going to use blog rule here. So let's try to import that and let's see if this works or not. So now it's working perfectly fine. So if you actually provide everything, hello Masonite, so hello Masonite, and let's try to send. The excerpt field is required. Okay, so we do have this type here. Let's copy this name and go to blog rule and paste it here. Now this should work. Send. All right, it is working perfectly fine. So let's copy this validation here inside update 2. Perfect. Let's do the same with user controller, and here inside user controller let's paste that validator and create one validator for user rule. Perfect. So let's use user rule here and import that name from app.validation.userRule. Import user rule. Alrighty, so that's perfect. Let's remove these files first. Go to user rule, import required here, and here let's use required, and we are going to pass the array, and let's check the required fields. So here inside create user we need name, email, and password. So let's use name, email, and password. Perfect. So let's copy this rule and paste it down here inside update. Perfect. So now let's try to create user without actually passing password and email, and let's see if we can see the validation error or not. Send. So we are seeing validation error. Random user, random send. So now user has been created successfully. So if you don't pass name, then you are seeing this validation error. Okay, so this guys, this is how you can actually add validator inside your APIs and also forms. You can do the same for forms too. So this is it for this tutorial. We are actually going to talk in detail about these validators in separate videos. So in other episodes, maybe I'll create few other episodes in which I'm going to talk about each topic in detail. So for now, this is it. So if you have any questions in mind, then you can ask me. If you have any issues, or if you want me to create any tutorial for you related to Masonite, then you can actually contact me here in YouTube. You can comment down below. Okay, see you guys in next episode. Bye.